Yeah. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, also known as the Fat Funny One. And hello, as you will see by the title of this video, I'm talking about something very exciting. Exciting. You know what I mean. I wrote a book. As if, like, can you even believe it? A whole book. All these words I wrote down, well, typed, but you know what I mean. I have written a book and I wanted to talk about the process because I had quite a few questions about it, and also just talk about it in general, what to expect. It's been published on the 3rd of February, which is only a few weeks away, which still feels so surreal. And yeah, I wanted to just give you a heads up, talk about how it happened, la-di-da-di-da. So here I am. So where do I even start? First things first, every time I say it, I want to be like, I'm the realist. But first things first, I guess how it even came about. So in 2019, I was approached by a publisher about writing a book. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I've always wanted to write a book. I did an Instagram post that on a Polaroid when I went to an event in 2018. I wrote, by the way, you're just going to have to deal with JJ Chan in the background. I wrote on it that I was going to write a book. I was going to finish a book by December 2019. Okay, dates were kind of off, but anyway. In 2019, I got this email. I was like, this is it. I said I wanted to write a book. I said by 2019, like, oh my gosh. But the publishers who approached me wanted a really specific book for a specific market written. And whilst it was kind of in the realms of what I talk about all the time, it was really specific to mothering, like parenting. And I wasn't really sure, it's not really my thing. Like, I talk about being a parent and stuff like that, but it was really around, I don't know how much I should say, but I guess it's not really a big deal because nothing ever happened. I'm not naming anyone. But basically they wanted me to write a book specifically for mums. And whilst it was like right up my street and, you know, I wanted to talk about motherhood and that relationship with your body, I didn't want to limit myself to just writing a book for mums, because it's really important for me. And part of my journey, whilst it started when I became a mother, there were so many nuances and things about my journey that had nothing to do with being a mum, and I just didn't really want to niche down that specific. So we went back and forth. I had to write proposals and stuff, and even when I was writing the proposals and like kind of samples of what I'd write, it wasn't hitting it. So it kind of fell apart. And so I just told myself, oh my gosh, you had this dream and obviously it's not going to happen. You can't write a book. Like, who really are you though? Who are you, Jess? So it didn't happen. I moved that photo, that Polaroid, onto my next year's vision board, but I added a post-it note, which I couldn't find, and I'm so annoyed I can't find it. And on it, I wrote, the girl who owned it. That's what I wrote on this post-it note, and I stuck them next to each other. I also had a book pin, which was on there, and I also had another post-it note that said #1 bestseller, which I still have because I've got to aim high, guys, got to aim high. So all of this was on my vision board, and again, it was something I still really wanted to do. I really wanted to write about confidence. I really wanted to write a book. I love writing. I genuinely love it. So 2020, I get an email, and it's from this incredible lady called Beth. And Beth's like, look, I've followed you for ages. I love your journey. I love what you're about. Let's have a chat. So we really hit it off, and everything I wanted to write, I was just like talking about what I wanted to write. It just was perfect. Like, everything was fitting together. So we decided to go ahead, and she offered me a book deal, which was just crazy. I actually then, literally the same week, got another email from another publisher offering me a book deal or saying let's have a chat, and I'd already signed. So I was like, okay, this is confirmation for me that I'm supposed to write a book now. And so yeah, I signed it, and here we go. I start the process of writing a book. Beth is like the most supportive person. So in terms of process, it's actually a really long process in most circumstances. So I know everybody's process will be completely different. I'm obviously not a publishing expert. This is just my experience of writing. I had quite a long time. So from 2020, I can't remember what month I signed the deal. I'll have to check my emails. But I signed it, and I had to submit my whole book by April 2021. We are now in January 2022. So it has been the best part of 2 years. Like, it's been such a long time, and I hadn't told anyone. Obviously I told my husband and my family, but even my wider family, I just hadn't told anybody. So I was writing this book like in a pandemic at home with the kids while I was working full time, but it just poured out of me. Like, I wanted to write, and I knew it was the book I needed to write. So I got a timeline of like when I had to do stuff by. They were really supportive. I could write like chunks of the book and send it over, and then they kind of read through, am I on the right page? Is it making sense? And then I'd get it back and stuff like that. But 100% of the writing is mine, apart from like grammar and editing in terms of this sentence doesn't make sense, you need to reword it, or the spelling's off, which it definitely was. All of the words written in this book are mine. I had to put it together, and yeah, it went back and forth until April, when I had to submit all, I think it was like 60,000 words or something crazy, maybe more than that. I can't even remember. But I look back at my WhatsApp chats of my two best friends, and I was like texting like, oh, like I've got to get this word count, I've got to keep going at like 3 a.m. And they'd be like, come on Jess, they'd really hold me accountable, and Trevor would be like, you can do this, like keep going. He's like having the whale of time. And I'd come in the kitchen and be like, right, I've done it, I've hit my word count for this chapter, I've finished this chapter. The whole process was amazing, but it was hard. Like, as much as I had this book in my heart and it flowed, I really struggled, because it was like, how much do I share? Like, how do I put this into words, like how I feel and how I really want someone to capture this, and why am I sharing this bit? Is it going to make sense? Does it make sense? It was mind-boggling. And I think just the whole idea of writing a book, like, I found the whole process so surreal. And even now, like, I'm holding it in my hand and I look through the pages and I'm like, I wrote that. It's crazy. So anyway, I didn't want for the book was for it to be really autobiographical, you know what I mean. I didn't want that, because like, it doesn't really, not my vibe. I'm not like some major celeb, like no one cares. But part of my journey, and obviously being me, is how I've come about even writing this, and how I've changed my life to own it, to be confident, and to be able to write this book. So I went back and forth with how, and I really wanted it to be a how-to. So I share so much of my personal journey in it, but there are also challenges, there are also activities to do, there are also tasks that I set for you to go off and do, because it's all good having all the will in the world of wanting to change your mindset, but action is what needs to happen. Like, you need to physically do some stuff. And when I mean physically, I don't mean you need to go and run around the block, but there are actions and tasks that you need to do to actually put change into motion. And so I really wanted there to be some practical things that people could do that would make them really rethink how they feel, really assess how they feel, and really make some change. So there's a lot of that. So I want to give you a quick flash. Every chapter has a guided task where you'll be guided through a specific task that really is going to look at how you're feeling and create some change in your life, some real positive change. Now, when I look at the title, so the book is called Own It. I should have really started with this, but how weird is this? So me and Beth were talking about titles. I wanted to just name it kind of after my show. So I did a show in 2020 called Fat, Funny and Fearless, and that was kind of where I was going. And Beth was like, I just feel like you always say own it. You're someone who owns it. Like, let's think of something like that. And I went back to my vision board, and obviously on that post-it note that I talked about at the beginning, I wrote the girl that owned it. And I was like, oh my gosh, as if you've just said this, like, this is perfect. And so we went with Own It, and it just, as soon as we had it, I was like, yes, like, this is exactly the title. This is I want people to own it. And when you own it, it's not just about owning the good things, it's owning every single part of you, the bits that you don't like, the bits you want to accept, the bits that you're working through. Owning it is such a journey. And I don't want to use the term the good, the bad and the ugly, because I don't mean ugly in a physical sense, but that owning every single part of you is part of this becoming a better version of you, becoming a more confident version of you. And I really wanted that, and the title just worked completely. The design of the cover was, I had loads and loads of options. Oh my gosh, when I mean so many options, like 20, 30 options. And everyone knows I love a bit of leopard print in my life. I went with a leopard print cover. Pink is my jam, it's my favourite colour. And so yeah, this was the cover that we went for. And I absolutely adore it. It's exactly what I pictured. The other thing I thought about as well is I wanted a book that's going to, one, stand out on the shelf, but also on your own shelf. Like, I have a colour-coded bookshelf because I'm extra, and I wanted something that was really going to stand out and be fun and encompass all of the fun and brightness that I want people to gain from reading it. There's something about confidence that always just makes me feel bright and lively and, you know, just vibrant. I want people to own their vibrancy and to really come out, and this is what I'm hoping they get from it. Thinking about who the book is for, kind of anyone, like absolutely anyone. I just want it to be a book that people read and go, I can totally do this. Like, if Jess can do this, I can do this. I don't have any special powers. I've not, you know, done anything that I don't think others can do. And yeah, I want it to be a book that people will just be able to read and close and go, I've totally got this. Like, I'm gonna own it. Life is gonna be so good. I am going to create and do everything that I want to do because I can, and I am capable and worthy of having everything that I want. I want that to be the message that people get when they close this book. There are bits that I hope are really funny. There are bits that I think people will feel sad by, but not in a like really crime way, but because you'll be able to relate to it. I just want people to read it and go, oh, I'm not alone, I can do this. That's what I want. It's still so surreal that it's here, that it's an actual book with actual words that I put down and someone believed enough in me to make it a thing. From a practical point, you can buy it in loads of places. Amazon, WH Smith, Waterstones. I can't believe my book is going to be in actual Waterstones. And the bookstore, all online, and hopefully in store too at WH Smith and Waterstones after the 3rd of February. So yeah, this is like just a waffly video of how excited I am. But yeah, I wrote a book. If you'd like to pre-order it, the links are going to be below. If you have pre-ordered it, thank you. Yeah, own it. Yeah, can you say own it? So I'm about to own my mothering now because the baby's about to cry, and yeah, I'm gonna do that. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any more specific questions about the process and stuff that I probably didn't answer because I waffled a bit, then drop them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to share. And yeah, I wrote a book, guys. Ah! Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go before the baby cries. Take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.